Charlie Kirk went on to Bill Maher's podcast. Bill Maher is one of those guys that has been critical of the purity left. He says that the left is too pure. They are insistent on purity testing. And if you don't agree with them 100% of the way, then you're not a leftist at all. You're basically a Republican, and they criticize you. And then he says it's people like that which are making Democrats lose elections. And I've made this comment before, but what I find so funny and ironic about that is that Bill Maher and Cenk Uygur and Ethan Klein and David Pakman, all of these liberals that claim to be progressive, are attacking the left, and they're saying they are being too restrictive. They're picking and choosing who can go underneath that umbrella of being a leftist, of being a good Democrat, of advocating for victims. But they're criticizing me, and that's actually causing real Democrats to lose elections. And it's like, okay, but you're criticizing them, so by that logic, aren't you making Democrats lose elections too by criticizing the left and turning the left away? You're saying the left is criticizing liberals too much and turning liberals away, but you're doing the exact same thing. You're infighting just as much as these people are. You're complaining about it just as much. At the end of the day, they just have policy differences as leftists. They have different policies than leftists. But yeah, Bill Maher is one of these guys that complains about the left being too pure. So it's really funny to me that now he's interviewing fucking Charlie Kirk. And man, Charlie Kirk is getting around. First Gavin Newsom and now Bill Maher. Okay, let's go.
Marketing gurus at Radioactive Media. They believe in the power of audio so much they even use it themselves right here, right now. Text
an ad right off the bat.
To 511.
Oh my God, a lot of ads right off the bat.
I'm here.
Kirk, reporting for duty.
That's what they call me.
How are
you? Okay, I've never actually sat down and watched an entire episode of this podcast. Is it just me, or is it really weird that the guest is in the studio before the host is in the studio? I know everyone likes to make fun of Bill Maher for being a drunk when he sits down and does these podcasts, but he's got a glass of martini on the freaking screen, like as his title card.
Charlie Kirk here.
I'm here.
Kirk, reporting for duty.
That's what they call me.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Us?
Well, pardon me.
Is there someone with you?
No, thanks for having
You're
me.
not expecting trouble, are you?
Not
You
quite,
travel with security?
unfortunately.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Like what kind?
You know, security.
Well, I'm sorry that you have to do that, but that's the price of fame. And boy, I mean, man, you're everywhere. You're like the new It Boy podcast. No, it's true.
We have different jihadis that want to.
Oh, we have different jihadis immediately going with the fucking Islamophobic remarks. Also, I do like how Bill Maher's like, wow, you're everywhere. You're really making the podcast circuit, as he has him on his podcast.
Kill me. The purple-haired jihadis, the woke guys.
Well,
So
they want to kill me. They want to kill me just as bad.
probably
Oh, they really do.
No, you've been very outspoken on the woke stuff. Big time.
Yes. I mean, and they, just the way within a religion, they hate their own apostates more. I would say they hate me more because I'm supposed to like get on the short bus to Crazy Town with them, and I won't. And yet immediately he starts complaining. I haven't seen this yet, but immediately he starts complaining about the thing that he does himself. So he's like, these woke purple-haired jihadis, to borrow a term from Charlie Kirk, just criticize me. They criticize me so much. You're doing the exact same thing. And just once again, I want him to talk about the difference in policies that he disagrees with these people on, because it's oh so easy to throw up your hands and say, they're woke, they're too far left, they are what's turning middle America away from progressive politics. But why? Explain yourself. Will you lay out these policy positions that you advocate for and that you say Democrats can win elections on, that they are too far on? Still a liberal, and still like, you know, I mean, we probably could argue all day about Donald Trump and what he's doing, which I'm not down with. But, you know,
Chimichanga, Chimichanga, I'll make a deal with you. If you can subscribe and get 5 other people to sign up for YouTube Premium to be a member, it's only $1. If you can do that, you and 5 other people, then we can shut off Bill Maher, okay? But Yeah, we're gonna see how much we can actually get through this before I just like feel like I'm about to throw up and then have to shut it off.
It's always the people who are closest who think, oh gosh, you shouldn't have. You're a traitor somehow.
I was
We
going to
don't
ask,
go
is it
along
because they thought you were one of them and that?
I am one of them. They're not one of me. I'm.
Okay.
It's the liberalism who.
So they've left you, not you left.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
think
feel, I
that's
feel
fair.
like there's liberal and woke are two completely different things.
Liberal and woke are two completely different things. Okay, so Bill Maher's like, I'm one of them. They're not one of me. What the fuck does that mean? But anyway, what else was he saying? He's like, yeah, they've gone too far.
You shouldn't have. You're a traitor somehow.
I was
We
gonna
don't
ask
go-
Oh yeah, he's like, it's always the people that criticize the ones closest to them, which is not true. Because if it was the people criticizing the ones closest to them, then Hassan would be criticizing like socialists all the time, or socialists would be criticizing other socialists. No, they're criticizing Bill Maher because Bill Maher claims he's a leftist. He claims he's a Democrat, a liberal, whatever. But he has significant policy differences with leftists. That's why they're criticizing him. So it's not that you criticize the people closest to you, but you criticize the people that you think you can actually have an effect of. Your criticism can have the most effect. So if people criticize Ben Shapiro, that's great. But everyone knows that Ben Shapiro is a fucking conservative, fascist, Nazi freak. That's why it is relevant to cover what he's talking about, but it's not something that you need to cover every day to remind people Ben Shapiro is a Nazi, Ben Shapiro is a Nazi. You don't have to do that every day. But it is helpful to cover Bill Maher because he still says that I'm a Democrat and I haven't changed, everyone else has changed. It's like a new angle that he has. It's like the Dave Rubin. That's why people were covering Dave Rubin. That's why people covered Jimmy Dore. That's why people cover Ethan Klein, Cenk Uygur, all of these other guys who are doing this like slow, I've left the left type of thing, because it's an interesting angle and you are solidifying their position in this whole political spectrum.
Is it because they thought you were one of them and that?
I am one of them. They're not one of me. I'm.
Okay.
It's the liberalism who.
So they've left you, not you
Yeah.
left.
Well, I
think
feel, I
that's
feel
fair.
like there's liberal and woke are two completely different things. It was the theme of my last stand-up special that I just did a few months ago, and it's basically.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know how much water I can really drink during this segment, but Bill Maher says liberal and woke are two different things. It's a theme of my last stand-up special. Bro, this guy's an ancient dinosaur. Holy shit. He is like operating 20 years ago at this point. He feels alienated by the left. Like, yeah, no shit. His takes are really bad and barely left-leaning. I mean, he just did on his podcast, he just did an entire propaganda, like 15-minute long segment illustrating his visit with Donald Trump and talking about how great of guy Donald Trump is behind the scenes. Why can't he be that great in front of the cameras? And it's like, Bill, he's a shitty person. He was just nice to you for an evening. Shut the fuck up. Why are you letting that influence your politics and what you choose to talk about on your show?
I mean, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but it was a large part of it devoted to that, to proving that case.
Bro, he's like, oh yeah, that was something in my special. I'm like, okay, was it a joke? Like, I assumed it was just like a 30-second long joke, like set up punchline. And then he's like, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but a large part of the stand-up was devoted to that. Dude, this guy is so washed up. Hey, chimichanga, we got one. I need 5 more. Guys, if you too don't want to watch Bill Maher fillet Charlie Kirk on his podcast while he's drunkenly slurring through his vitriol towards the left, then please consider becoming a channel member. If we get 5 more channel members, I'll shut this off and we can all save ourselves the pain and anguish of watching this.
That, you know, what liberals believe, woke is something completely different. It's very often the opposite of it. You know, liberalism is let's live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. Woke's goal is we see race everywhere.
Race obsession.
Yes. Okay. So that's not liberal. You changed. Liberal is there a 2-state solution.
Holy shit, dude. Bill Maher's so fucking stupid. Okay, listen. If you live in a colorblind society, that's the goal. What does that mean? What does that mean? You live in a colorblind society, that's the goal. Well, to Bill Maher, I guess it's don't consider race at all. However, that's not true. People still do consider race. And we, oh my God, you guys really don't want to watch Bill Maher, don't you? Okay. But people don't want to see race, right? But people still do. Like, there's racists. Like, even if every single liberal is like, I'm not racist, I have turned my eyesight to black and white, and I can't distinguish between a black person and a white person. Let's say every liberal's on that. There's still going to be racist people that are racist. Okay, so then he says, like, oh, we want to live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. So how do you get there? Well, how you get there is to fight against racism. That's one. And then two is to correct historical injustices. Now, I don't even know, historical injustices based off of race. And I don't even know if Bill Maher would consider that an important part to living it. God damn it, Mia. God. Guys, this was going to be a whole segment. It's going to be like a Bill Maher video I was going to put out myself. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Okay, fine. Fine. We won't watch Bill Maher. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. But you know what? I'm going to trick you guys, because I'm not going to watch Bill Maher, but what I am going to do is watch Larry David make fun of Bill Maher through a Substack, an article he wrote in the New York Times, because I think this is hilarious. So Bill Maher. This is a loophole in the deal I made with you guys. Okay, so Bill Maher went to Donald Trump and had dinner with him and Kid Rock, and I think Dana White was there or something. And I wanted to cover that segment because it was so funny how Bill Maher's like, oh yeah, and Donald Trump asked me about what I thought with the nuclear deal that he was making with Iran. Like, should I bomb the nuclear sites? And then Bill Maher gave his opinion, and he acted like, oh yeah, Trump really took me seriously. It just shows how much of an inflated ego Bill Maher has, where he thinks a fascist president invites him to the White House and then is like, oh, let me hear your thoughts on the nuclear situation with Iran, and to let me take those thoughts seriously. Okay, so Bill Maher like said that, and he was proud of himself. And then a guest came on to his show and was like, oh yeah, Bill Maher, like, I love you, Bill. I think you're the greatest ever. And Bill's like, okay. Well, you don't have to patronize me. And my thought is, really? You don't? Because that's exactly what Donald Trump did to you. And it seemed to work on you. But anyway, he's a fucking joke. So Larry David writes a fucking article in the New York Times, My Dinner with Adolf. Here we go. Let's just see how far we can get into this. Imagine my surprise when in the spring of 1939, a letter arrived at my house inviting me to dinner at the old chancellery with the world's most reviled man, Adolf Hitler. I had been a vocal critic of his on the radio from the beginning, pretty much predicting everything he was going to do on the road to dictatorship. No one I knew encouraged me to go. He's Hitler. He's a monster. But I eventually concluded that hate gets us nowhere. I knew I couldn't change his views, but we need to talk about to the other side, even if it has invaded and annexed other countries and committed unspeakable crimes against humanity. 2 weeks later, I found myself on the front steps of the old chancellery and was led into an opulent living room. Okay, I'm gonna go forward a little bit. Opulent living room where a few of the Führer's most vocal supporters had gathered. Himmler, Göring, Leni Riefenstahl, and the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward VIII. We talked about some of the beautiful art on the walls that have been taken from the homes of Jews, but our conversation ended abruptly when we heard loud footsteps coming down the hallway. Everyone stiffened as Hitler entered the room. Holy fuck, dude. He was wearing a tan suit with a swastika armband and gave me an enthusiastic greeting that caught me off guard. Frankly, it was a warmer greeting than I normally get from my parents. Oh my god, like, this is literally a word-for-word parody of what Bill Maher did. And it was accompanied by a slap on my back. I found the whole thing quite disarming. I joked that it was surprising to see him in a tan suit, because if he wore that out, it would be perceived as un-Führer-like. That amused him to no end, and I realized I'd never seen him laugh before. Suddenly, he seemed so human. Here I was prepared to meet Hitler. Okay, where's I need to like find the end of this, or maybe I'll just let Kyle read the end.
I had never seen him laugh before. Suddenly he seemed so human. Literally, Maher said that I'd never seen Trump laugh before, and he was laughing and smiling. Suddenly he seemed so human. Here I was prepared to meet Hitler, the one I'd seen and heard, the public Hitler, but this private Hitler was a completely different animal. And oddly enough, this one seemed more authentic. Like this was the real Hitler. The whole thing had my head spinning. He said he was starving and led us into the dining room where he gestured for me to sit next to him. Goring immediately grabbed a slice of pumpernickel, whereupon Hitler turned to me, gave me an eye roll, then whispered, "Watch, he'll be done with the entire meal before you take 2 bites." That one really got me. Goring, with his mouth full, asked what was so funny, and Hitler said, "I was just telling him about the time my dog had diarrhea in the Reichstag." Goring remembered. How could he forget? He loved that story, especially the part where Hitler shot the dog.
Okay. Okay. Whereupon, watch, he'll be done. That one really got me. Goring, with his mouth full, asked what was so funny, and Hitler said, "I was just telling him about the time my dog had diarrhea in the Reichstag." Uh-oh. We've been talking a lot about dogs with diarrhea on this channel. Goring remembered. How could he forget? He loved that story, especially the part where Hitler shot the dog before it got back into the car. And then in beaming, Hitler said, "Hey, if I can kill Jews," I'm not going to do a German accent, "gypsies and homosexuals, I can certainly kill a dog." That perhaps got the biggest laugh of the night, and believe me, there were plenty. Holy shit, dude. Larry David's a menace.
Or he got back into the car. That perhaps got the biggest laugh of the night. And believe me, there was plenty. So anyway, this goes on, but you get the gist of it. He's like ruthlessly mocking Bill Maher for...
Bro, yeah, this is actually brutal because Bill Maher is completely oblivious. He's completely oblivious. He's having a dinner with Donald Trump when Donald Trump is at his peak of fascism. And then, instead of being like, "Oh yeah, and I grilled Donald Trump the entire time and got kicked out," he gets his fucking signature on a list of insults. They turn it into an entire joke. Even though Donald Trump's been the worst president probably in the history of the United States in terms of cracking down on freedom of speech, he's suing countless news agencies, getting people detained, arrested, and deported for their freedom of speech. And Bill Maher goes there with a list of insults and gets Donald Trump to sign them like it's some kind of celebrity inside joke that they have just between the two of them. No, motherfucker. Donald Trump attacks everyone's speech, not just you for making jokes. And then he goes on to his show and fucking glazes the guy, saying how great of an evening it was and how the Democrats have never done that. Basically, that's just red meat to conservatives. Okay. So yeah, and then he's just completely oblivious. So yes, criticizing Bill Maher is an extremely valid thing to do, and completely clowning on him, like what Larry David did, is also extremely valid and super rewarding to watch too. Okay, we're done with Bill Maher now, guys. Are you happy? Are you happy? Yeah, he's painfully out of touch. I mean, I just remember when Bill Maher was like, "I drive my car and I don't see any homeless people." And then one of his guests is like, "Well, do you drive down to Skid Row?" And he's like, "No, why would I do that?" Like, he's just completely out of touch. So that is the perfect thing to do. Okay, painfully out of touch. Yeah, he just needs to go away. He really does. He's not adding anything. He's just criticizing leftists so much. And really, this is another example of someone who's so fixated on leftists eventually just biting the bullet and doing conservative propaganda. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of people that are fixating on leftists, like David Pakman, like Ethan Klein, starting to do that more. I mean, we're already seeing like Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian doing that too. Let's share our favorite Bill Maher jokes. Well, the thing is, we didn't watch his special where he said the majority, or not the majority, but a good section of his stand-up was establishing the difference between woke and liberal. And apparently that was really funny. Hold on. The last thing we need to do on Bill Maher Bill Maher special 2025. I just want to see the trailer. Is anyone else seeing this? Holy shit. Even the name of his special is self-indulgent. Okay, is this Bill Maher posted this. Is this like a trailer for
always kill the child molesters. I love this about prisoners. I do. I gotta say, I find this so adorable, so charming, that they have standards. You, sir, are not welcome in this establishment. I've discussed it with the other hatchet murderers, rapists, thieves, cannibals, and serial killers, and members of the co-op board, and you do not represent our core values. Whenever a child molester goes to prison, the other prisoners always kill the child molesters.
Okay, Bill Maher's joke saying that all prisoners are as bad as child molesters. I just want to see if there's a trailer for it. Because the trailers always show the best jokes, right? Okay, here's the official trailer. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted.
Can we celebrate progress tonight? America still makes a lot of progress. I mean, take something like pot. I know I will. I live in...
I'm not ready. I'm not... Wait. He did a little jig when they're like, are you ready or not?
Can we celebrate progress tonight? America still makes a lot of progress. I mean, take something like pot. I know I will.
I'm really curious to know what that joke was, where he did that little dance.
I live in California. We get 2 senators. The Dakota territory gets 4. There are more people in California named Dakota. Are you ready or not?
There are more people in California named Dakota than 4? I'm really like, I know that it's a cliche bit to just be like repeat a joke back and say it slowly and be like, what? But he just said there's more people in California named Dakota than the people in Dakota or the senators in Dakota. Like, guys, he's a political comedian and he's like, oh, yeah, look at the Senate. It's not representative of the American people.
Yeah. We get 2 senators. The Dakota territory gets 4. There are more people in California named Dakota. Are you ready or not? Let's be honest, everybody hates kids these days. Not that I'm saying kids are bad. Kids are important. They assembled my phone. Donald Trump, he's Jesus in reverse. Other people die for his sins. Are you ready or not? I've been to states where the Republican ads, they don't even mention policy. It's just a guy with a gun and a truck.
I've heard Republicans talk. They don't even mention policy. Like, I've been thinking too. I'm like, okay, there's some observations I can make that point to comedic contradictions in society, and it's like, it's not enough to just say there's a contradiction happening. I don't know, like, why do we need to wait for a waiter to bring us a check, then take the card, go back to the machine, bring the check back? Why don't we just walk up to the machine and swipe the card and then leave? We can do it at our own time. We can just get out of there. It's way faster. It's less hassle for everyone involved. That's like a contradiction in society that maybe you could play off of. Seinfeld literally did a bit off of that, where it's like, I see my food, it's sitting right there up at the table. Why don't I just get it? The waiter's busy. I can see it. I know it's our food because that's my order. That's your order. I'm just going to walk up and get it. And then they get it. That's the pointing out the contradiction in society. And then the comedy comes from like the reaction to that. So then the waiter comes back and he's like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you cutting me out of here? It's like the idea that you need to have that contradiction for society to work fluently, because otherwise you're like disrupting the social norms, and as a result of your disruption of it, then that's like that creates conflict, and then there's like humor in that. But if you're doing a stand-up, you need a strong punchline, and Bill Maher just doesn't have these strong punchlines. When he's like, oh, there's more people named Dakota. That's not a good punchline. That's analogous to Ethan Klein being like, he's picked up so many tokens, he became one. It's a reference to something you're trying to say, but it's not a good setup because you're not like in the context. It's not like he's talking about a bunch of, it's just like, it's not clever at all. It's just you're referencing a word that you're trying to get to anyway. I don't know. It's just really not clever. It's a lowbrow comedy, and it's something that anyone could do, I think.
With a gun, truck, gun. Me like these things you like. Vote me. Do you see what I'm talking about with the crazy? Please, is anyone else?
Oh, is this the woke versus Democrat part of his stand-up?
Me like these things you like. Vote me.
Like that's his punchline. Me like things you like, vote me. Like I just don't think that's really clever at all. That's something that, like, Family Guy did this 20 years ago when Lois Griffin was running for mayor, and she's like, she realized that she could just say 9/11 and people would clap for her.
Do you see what I'm talking about with the crazy? Please, is anyone else seeing this?
Literally, the name of the stand-up special is him like filleting himself, being like, I'm above everything. Why do I feel like I'm crazy? I'm not the crazy one. Everyone else is crazy. Is anyone else seeing this? Just the fucking name of the stand-up special is self-indulgent. Goddamn, his ego is off the charts. But guys, consider signing up for memberships. It helps me out, helps my editors out. Only $1 a month, so it's really not a big deal. Your name can be green. That will be cool. And thanks for watching, everyone.